You ever wonder why we're here? It's one of life's great mysteries, isn't it? Why are we here? I mean, are we the product of some cosmic coincidence, or is there really a God watching everything? You know, with a plan for us and stuff? I don't know, man, but it keeps me up at night. What? I mean, why are we out here, in this canyon? Yeah. What all this stuff about God? Nothing. You want to talk about it? No. You sure? Yeah.
What the hell did you expect?
What the hell do you expect?
I'm sorry, operator, I can't hear you. I'm trying to use the phone!
Sir, that stolen lemur bit one of your prostitutes right in the face, and she says she can't go to hospital because she's, quote, tripping balls.
I became part of this team not because of the pay and not because of the pension, but because, frankly, the wanking was great. It was exciting.
It's faster than a knife, and the only tears you'll cry are tears of joy.
We got your t-shirt, you done left fingerprints and all. You are so dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
You are a toy! You weren't the real Buzz Lightyear, you're an action figure! You are a child's plaything!
I just wish we could all get along like we used to in middle school. I wish that I could bake a cake made out of rainbows and smiles, and we'd all eat, be happy.
She doesn't even go here!
Do you even go to this school? No. I just have a lot of feelings.
Well, hello and welcome to What the Hell Did You Expect? I'm your host, Kevin Ryan, weighing in this week at 196 pounds. And this week is a little bit different. We have a guest on this week for the first time this semester.
It's me.
And yeah, I was going to actually introduce you.
No.
So you could have possibly waited. But yeah, we have a guest on. It's Lee Sheridan. One of the popular guests on What the Hell Did You Expect? And of course, like always, we have Colin here.
So we have popularity now? Is that a thing?
No.
I wasn't aware that. Like,
Kevin, I'm disappointed.
Do we have?
I thought it was popular.
Like, do we have people who are popular in comparison to people who aren't popular? Who have we had on? Lee, Aaron, and Lydia.
Yeah. Well,
and they are ranked.
You know what? I also asked. I asked earlier this evening Adassa, because we were hanging out, I asked her if she would ever want to be a guest host on our radio show.
Oh yeah? How'd that go?
And she was like, no.
Why?
I don't want to do it. And I'm like, why not, babe? Like, what's the problem? And she's like, I've done it before. Like, one of my friends had a talk show that I guest hosted on, and I didn't do very well at all.
Oh.
And I'm like, well, you'll do better on ours because we don't have a topic.
Yeah, we just kind of fuck around and talk and like make inappropriate jokes at inappropriate times.
That's you, Colin.
So I might be able to convince her to come on the radio show sometime, but I still don't know if that's actually a reality.
Someday,
it really
somewhere.
depends on the people you're with, I feel like.
Yeah.
Like, it's not good if you can't banter with the people that you're talking to.
Definitely.
So that might have been the issue. Also, just nerves. Like, it's a little scary to have a giant mic shoved in your face.
You just have to remember that we're all badgers. Like, none of us are actually people. We're all just badgers speaking into microphones that are surgically implanted into our hands. So
also,
there's really nothing to be afraid of.
Jesus Christ.
I want to take one moment also to give a little bit of well-deserved recognition to KLC because Mic 3 is working today. Not only is Mic 3 working, but the stream is working. Like, we have some weird sort of star alignment. I saw you looking over at the phone. I know.
I bet you the phone doesn't work.
No, I'm sure the phone doesn't work.
Phone works.
Well,
what?
So everything in the studio works, which never happens.
I don't know. I mean, the phone itself works, but the thing I'm wondering, though, is whether, like, if someone actually called in, I kind of doubt that it would work. Like, I doubt we could get them on the air.
Yeah,
We
probably.
could test that if we really wanted to.
Let's not do that now.
But I doubt anyone is
Do we even have
listening
somebody?
right now.
No,
Right, exactly.
Colin keeps looking at me, but I texted a bunch of people to start listening, and he's looking at me like checking my phone is the wrong thing to do.
It is because it fucks with the
Yeah,
speakers.
it does
Oh,
fuck with
really?
the
Oh,
speakers.
sorry. Okay.
You know,
When you get incoming text messages, it actually makes the speakers go all staticky. And
yeah.
we don't know why.
I mean, you're
but
so well. I mean, it does that on all sound systems, regardless of whatever shit. But I mean, I think your phone is far enough away from the speakers that it doesn't really matter that much.
Yeah, suck it, Colin. I'm sorry.
Wow.
I'm not sure how to take that. Do you
Already,
want me to like get on my
3 minutes into
knees?
the
Like,
show.
No, I really don't. Not even a little bit.
Oh my god.
Uh-huh.
But one
Yes?
quick thing, and I hate to do this on the air.
What?
But take your mic and sort of spin it more towards.
Okay,
your
like
mouth.
this?
Yeah,
Better?
that's better.
All right.
it's literally like you're taking it.
I ruining my life.
I'm sorry.
One day at a time.
That's good practice. You know.
For other people ruining my life. I don't want that. I really don't.
I'm spouting gibberish.
Someone's going to ruin your life eventually. Just like
It's not
going to
be you, Colin.
Just like that.
I've
one-
tried. I would know.
I'll ruin my own life.
I've known you like 8 years. I've tried to ruin your life like 6 times already. It hasn't worked. Like
Wait, what were the times? Tell me.
Because the first time I got you that rabbit, and the second time like I told you we were
What?
badgers, and the third time like I totally destroyed all of our middle school romances.
That's 3.
Wait,
Keep it coming.
7. Okay. I planted weed in your room underneath the floorboards.
I live on the
slept
second
with your
story.
brother. I hacked your
Which
what's it
one?
called? Your Guild Wars 2 account.
No.
And deleted Katie from your friends list.
No.
And one more.
Go ahead.
I slept with your other brother.
No, he's underage. What's wrong with you? Colin is disgusting.
I'm pretty sure at least 3 of those were illegal.
I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
all of those are things I would never actually do.
Thank you. Wait,
Yeah.
okay, good.
Well-
all of them. I thought you said those 3. I'm like, which ones? Which ones?
I'll do all of them except 3. There are 3 things in there I wouldn't do. You'll have to guess which ones.
I hate this game.
I know, right? Speaking of games,
Good segue.
I
Would
finished
you-
reading all the Song of Ice and Fire books. I'm so happy. Game of Thrones.
Oh, Game of
seasons-
Thrones,
Game of
yeah.
Thrones season 5. I'm super excited.
Yeah, I think we both thought we were going right.
Yeah,
into the new
yeah,
game.
yeah.
No, let's play the new game. I just wanted to say that.
Oh well, I
Very
mean,
proud of yourself.
wait.
I'm
did-
so proud of myself.
have you read any of the Game of Thrones books, Lee?
I read like the first 2, and then I got bored and I did other things.
I haven't read any of them.
That's how
Okay,
it goes
so
with
there's
books for
nothing
me,
to
though.
talk about.
No, there really isn't. Other
Sorry,
than
Colin.
I'm really excited because I have one thing to say, and that is based on where the show is and where the books are, there is no way that the show is going to be able to keep continuity with the books and also wrap up in 8 seasons, which they are signed on for.
No,
so,
Colin,
we're-
did you not know that they're changing how the structure of the actual show is going to be?
No,
though
I didn't.
No, they okay. This is from Allie, and I don't remember where she read it, so I can't corroborate for certain. But I think what they're going to do is they're going to diverge the plot a little bit in the TV show, so the
Yeah.
people who have read the books will not know what's coming.
That's awesome. and
Yeah,
like
I know
this.
they have George R.R. Martin doing it.
Because I need
Very
new
exciting.
content now because book 6 is not coming for like another year, and oh my god, so many things are happening.
At
Is
least
6 the last
another
one?
year.
Yeah.
I mean, no.
7 is the last one.
the
Oh,
last
okay.
one.
Yeah.
It'll take another 50 years to finish.
Right. At the pace he's writing, it'll probably take about 7 or 8 years after book
Yeah.
6.
I'm
to
okay
get
with
book
that.
7
Yeah,
out.
I mean,
as
we're
long as
being
they
rude
come
about
out,
it,
I'm
but-
okay
Yeah.
with that.
Oh, totally.
Wait, what if he dies first?
He won't.
He won't.
Shut
He's
up.
immortal. Sorry.
I mean, he's like, I know a bunch of people say, "Oh, George R.R. Martin is so old." He's not that old.
No, he's like 60.
He's,
He's fine.
65.
Yeah.
He'll be fine.
With modern American medicine, like, come on, he's gonna
Is he
live.
American?
Yeah.
Oh,
He's the
we should
American
be proud
Tolkien.
of that. What?
That's what fucking book review calls
Stop
him.
laughing at me.
What?
Did you think he was like Greek? Or
No, I thought it was
something?
British.
No.
He's got a name that makes him sound like he could be.
Yeah, a lot
And
of
everything is set in
Americans
like
have
medieval
names.
fantasy England.
Well, a lot of
He
Americans.
has a big beard and
have
looks a little
names.
like Terry Pratchett, okay? I just assume all of those old men run together and come from
Oh,
England.
I see. All old men are the same.
Yeah, you too will
Old
become
men,
British
old
as
white
you get
rich
older.
men are truly the underprivileged of this society. You stomp on me.
Are you an old white man and I didn't know about it?
I hope not.
It's not like something you discover. You're like, oh shit, I'm an old white
I
man.
wake up tomorrow and I'm like, well, fuck, I gained 80 years in my sleep.
I gained
80 years.
80 years and $80 million.
That would be awesome.
Would you? Okay, I guess this poses an interesting question.
Yeah.
Would you happily transition into like old age, only have a handful of years left to live, if you had just an insane amount of money? If
No.
that came with an insane.
Depends.
Amount of
Am
money?
I also of an incredibly high social class?
Well, of course you would
Well,
be
yeah.
based on the money.
Like within like a company or something, like a chairman or am I just like a guy who sells donuts?
You don't have to sell donuts once you have $80 million and only 20 years to live.
Okay.
I mean, you would probably have a pretty high social status.
Maybe. I mean, I kind of want to
No,
live my
why?
life, but I also
Yeah.
kind of want to like jump into the future and use my youthful vigor with my money
Vigor.
and power to like completely upend the political system and then die with a middle finger.
With just one finger left.
Yes.
Just the middle one. K.
Yeah.
Would you like to play a game?
I would like
No.
to play a game.
Oh, sorry.
Not
It
the
sounded
movie.
like Saw. I'm like, no.
Not the movie
I
reference,
don't think
Lee.
No,
so.
this is well, this is going to be a new game.
Yeah.
I don't think we haven't ever done this before. Although, unfortunately, this is a little bit of a ripoff.
As if our show isn't already that.
Well, that's true. I have news on that actually in a minute.
No
but-
longer a
Shit, Are
ripoff?
we gonna talk about Monty?
Python?
No.
Okay.
No.
That's not-
That's not what I was going to say. It's just that the podcast that we are based on has some news that I will share in a minute.
Oh, excellent.
But first, I'd like to introduce our first segment of Google or Colin. And the way this works, it's a lot like Google or Gavin, if anyone knows the Rooster Teeth podcast.
Yes.
The way this works is I have asked Colin a list of questions that are incomplete questions. For example, why do men blank? And Colin fills in the rest of the question with whatever he thinks would make sense. And then I also asked that question to Google and took one of the Google suggestions. So this is unfortunately only a show that we can really do with a guest, but that's, I guess, what makes it even more special in a way.
I'm very special.
So here, let me put on the Google or Colin music.
We have music. Classy.
It's beautiful.
It's going to get techno-y in a second.
Nice.
I love it.
Yes.
It's actually from GTA 5, which is how I learned about it. It's like,
I thought it sounded familiar.
yeah,
Oh, this is a good song.
Yeah.
it's good.
Such
Anyway,
good speakers
so,
here too.
The first Google or Colin question, Lee, is why do men blank?
Okay.
And here are your two options. Why do men grow beards? Why do men have nipples? Which one is Google? Which one is Colin?
Those are hard, actually. I've played that game where you you type like why blank and then Google fills it in and it's really entertaining. But I haven't done it with another person. Oh, Colin would do nipples. I feel like.
You think Colin is nipples and Google
I
is
think
beards?
Colin is nipples.
You're wrong.
I am nipples.
No,
No,
no.
Colin asked why do men grow beards, and Google asked
like,
why do men
yeah.
have nipples.
Oh.
I really actually do want to know why men have beards and
You
women
you
don't.
have
It doesn't
somebody,
make
a beard
sense.
wearer right in front of you, a beard bearer.
Yeah, but I can't ask him why
Ask
men wear
him.
beards. Okay, why
I don't know why men grow beards. I don't know.
See, exactly. It's like
it just happened to you one
Well,
day.
yeah, I mean, there's probably some biological reason.
No.
like
It's
hair
like why
follicles
I was
and
thinking.
shit.
I was thinking like why do you allow your beard to grow? Not like why
Oh.
do they
I'm-
physically grow on your
I
face?
totally
No,
meant
he
it
was-
biologically.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's just warmth. Like for
Yeah,
real.
but why don't women also
yeah,
do
exactly.
Shit.
it? Exactly. It's like why? I don't know.
Why is this only a masculine thing? For some reason,
Hmm.
biology decided that men have facial hair and women didn't, and that's a weird, interesting.
It's a
thing that
signifier
I've
of
heard actually-
masculinity.
I guess, but how did that?
But
become
that
a
didn't
bonus.
evolve.
You
like,
need differences between men and
Right.
women,
Yeah,
though.
but
So
why
you
is
can.
boobies
why is-
aren't boobies enough. Why do you need
Well, that's
beards?
one of the many.
right, but why
You've
is
seen
facial
androgynous
hair?
people before.
Yes, I did.
The facial hair is almost always like the defining factor, you know? Like you look and you're like, is this a boy or a girl? Or is it something else? And I feel bad calling it. But like the defining factor is often whether or not somebody has facial hair.
I guess. I
Yeah.
don't know.
That still doesn't explain it like historically though.
Yeah.
Regardless,
I'm gonna
next
Google
question.
that shit later.
Okay, the next question is: Can Jesus blank? Your two options
I
are:
love this one.
Can Jesus find love?
Oh.
Can Jesus microwave a burrito?
Oh my God. Can Jesus find love? I think these must have been very far down the list of the Google fill-in. I think the first one is Colin.
Find love? Can
Yeah.
Jesus find love is Colin?
Yeah, it's
and
like
microwave a burrito is Google.
yeah, because the tone of voice is Colin-ish.
Yeah.
Oh, thank
you're
God.
absolutely
Good,
right.
good, good.
Can
I was
Jesus
afraid,
find
yeah.
love is Colin. And Google wonders if Jesus can microwave a burrito.
It's a good question.
Asking the important questions.
It's true.
Thank you, Google.
This one is a little bit easier, I think, and I think Colin thinks so too. Are Canadians blank? Are Canadians afraid of the dark? Are Canadians actually super nice all the time?
The first one is Colin.
Afraid of the dark is Colin?
Yeah.
No.
No, really? Oh God.
Colin asked
I'm
me
ashamed.
if Canadians are actually super nice all the time.
I thought you knew me, Lee.
I'm sorry. It's been 8 years. I'm trash.
I thought we were close.
I'm sorry. I got the second one by your tone of voice, though, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty decent. Also, Google asks a lot of questions that sound like questions you would ask. I'm not
Google
trying to be
and I-
mean,
No,
but
that's totally
it's
the point of
true.
this
It's
entire
hard.
game. Yeah. The fourth question. What is it
Yeah.
called when blank? What is it called when a giraffe eats your toy jet? What is it called when you're at someone's funeral and you pop a boner?
I shouldn't just assume every single sexual one is Colin, but I do.
Thank
Let
you.
me no. Let me think about it. But I have to go with my instinct. I think it's the second one for you.
You are absolutely
Well,
right.
Yeah. You
Colin-
fed into the stereotype.
Colin wonders what it's called when you're at someone's funeral and you pop a boner.
I've always wondered about that. Do you just feel horribly ashamed and awkward?
What is it
about
called? I don't
yourself?
think there's a term
There's
for
got to
it.
be a word for it.
I think there is a word for it on Urban Diction. I'm going to look that up once we finish
Yeah.
this game.
It's like
a
yeah.
sad boner or a pity. There's so many different types.
Isn't there
of
a fear
boners
boner?
for you. Oh God.
Yeah.
Fear boner.
like a moose comes out of the woods at you and like stares at you and you just get a massive erection. You
That's
don't know why.
awkward.
Yeah. There's a lot of boners.
Where?
Fields of boners.
Yeah, you make it sound like they're just sort of out there
I've
floating
seen
in the
things.
abyss. I'm so
I've
sorry,
seen
Kevin.
things you people wouldn't believe. Boners on fire off the shore of Orion.
I was waiting for you
I've
to
seen
make that
nipples
reference.
glimmer in the dark off Tannhauser
You
Gate.
you have to stop.
All those innuendos be lost in time like tears
A plus.
in
Good job.
jizz.
Oh.
I have nothing to say.
It's my
Okay,
favorite
the-
fucking movie.
The last and final Google or Colin. Yeah, what's your score right now? I think you've gotten 2
I think
out
it's
of
2 for
4.
2. Or
Yeah.
2 for 4. Or however,
Yeah.
however you say that to sound cool.
I think I'm doing pretty
you
pretty
got
good.
2
2
out
to
of
4,
4.
yeah.
Yeah.
So this one determines whether you pass or fail.
Oh no.
Why are
Oh no.
blank?
Okay.
Why are alpacas so popular right now? Why are their school?
The second is Colin.
No.
No.
No, Colin asked about alpacas.
You asked about why would you ask about alpaca? Oh,
'Cause
you
they're
would
really
ask about alpacas.
They're really popular right now.
I have to stop yelling.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're kind of blasting the speakers a
sorry.
little. And my headphones.
I'm sorry, Kevin.
Godly. It's like you're shouting right in my ear.
It makes us bleed inside. And not in the fun way.
So I'm going to write this down so the next time we play Google or Colin, we have a score to beat. So
No.
Lee got 2 out of 5.
I'm embarrassed.
You should feel ashamed.
I am.
We'll have to take away your badger badge.
But
You no longer get to be a badger,
It's important
who's
to
also
me.
a radio show host.
You jerk.
I know.
Here's the thing, though. If you ever come on again
Mhm.
and we play Google or Colin, you have a chance to redeem yourself and beat your previous record. I mean, right now you're the record holder. You have the highest.
Could have gotten 1, and
Yeah,
it would have been the
and you would-
record holder.
Yeah, you could have gotten 0 and be the record holder.
It's not hard to beat.
Passed by our window. Anyway.
So yeah, that
Actually,
was-
speaking of people walking by the window next to the studio, as we were starting and during the intro, Steven walked by the.
He just did again.
Yeah, and I filleted the microphone at him, and he gave me the funniest look.
Nice.
Good.
I love doing that.
Oh, hey, so I have an interesting story to tell you. This is transitioning into boring thesis land, so I apologize for a minute. But
Can we do fight scenes afterwards?
yeah, we're doing fight scenes.
Awesome.
afterwards. But okay, so I found the poem I'm working on for my thesis is called St. Erkenwald. It was written around 1386, and I found a photocopy of the original text, like the original manuscript. And it was in the dissertation of this guy named Clifford Peterson. He wrote his dissertation in 1974 at the University of Washington, and they had it at the library, and they just sent it to me.
Nice.
And it had a photocopy of the original text in it, which the whole dissertation he sort of edited and revised and later turned it into an edition of the poem in 1977. Anyway, so I want to find the rest of the original manuscript, or photocopies or facsimiles of it, since there's only the one page that I've seen so far. So I'm like, you know what? Maybe Clifford Peterson has the rest of them. So I go on this wild Google chase, and it turns out in like the mid-'80s, he stopped being an English professor, went and got a law degree, and moved to Vermont. And now he's like a judge in the Superior Court for the state of Vermont.
Oh, that's interesting.
Whoa.
And I tracked down his address and phone number and email.
Dude, that's creepy.
And I emailed him
Okay, good.
and was like, hey, you don't know me at all, but I'm an undergrad at Lewis and Clark, and I'm working on this poem. Do you still have copies of the manuscript? Could you help me out? So he emailed me back. Like the next day. This was 2 days ago. He emails me back, and he's like, hi, Kevin. Good to revisit St. Erkenwald. It's been about 30 years since I've even thought about that poem.
As you do.
By the way, how did you get my email address?
You didn't tell him about the phone number and the other address, right?
No.
Good.
I just told him that I did a few Google searches and that I found it from some school board website.
Yeah.
But so then he says, okay, so, here are some other sources for you to use in your paper, just some general things I know about the text. Also, I do have copies of the rest of the manuscript. Not only do I have copies of the rest of the poem, I have copies of the whole manuscript, which includes dozens of other poems.
Wow.
That have rarely been looked at, if at all, and really never been studied.
That's awesome.
So I'm going to make it. It's in microfilm, but he's making copies and he's going to send them to me. So I'm going to have copies of the original manuscript of St. Erkenwald.
That's really cool.
That is really
That's
cool.
So cool.
So
Oh my god.
fucking cool. I need to show you these because they're so
Yeah,
beautiful.
I dig the shit out of manuscripts.
It's
And,
calligraphy, basically. It's
yes.
English
Wow.
calligraphy. But it's also in Middle English, so there's
I won't be able to read it, but the aesthetic
Yeah.
appreciation and the
Yeah.
connection to illuminating
Yeah,
manuscripts and stuff is enough that I love it anyway.
Yeah,
It's really cool.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Anyway, that's my Clifford Peterson story.
We love you, Clifford Peterson, if you're listening to this.
Yes, he will not be listening to this. Dear God, I hope he doesn't. Listen.
Like, I'm never sending you
Sound
anything
like a
again.
creeper. Especially since Clifford Peterson isn't as common of a name as Kevin Ryan. But Clifford Peterson is still common enough that I had to dig through a lot of Google searches.
Where did you go to find him?
I Googled Clifford Peterson UW PhD 1974. And I found him on LinkedIn, and it said that he worked for this one law firm. So I called the law firm, and they said, oh, no, he doesn't work for us anymore. So then I did some more Googling and found out from another sort of lawyers.com or something page that he got a position as a judge in the Superior Court of Vermont. And then from there, I figured out where in Vermont he lived. So I typed in Clifford Peterson, Underhill, Vermont, and got his phone number and address and email.
Okay, so this is kind of creepy, but do you know about the website called Spokio or something like that?
No.
Describe.
So it's a website. I remember seeing like an article about it a little while ago that basically contains all of the addresses and phone numbers of most of the people in the United States. And if you just type their name in, you can generally find out exactly where they live and their phone numbers and that sort of thing. And I'm not saying,
Spokio?
yeah.
Huh.
Yeah,
That's creepy.
Yeah, it really is. I searched
mean,
for myself and
yeah.
several other friends of mine, and they show up and they'll give you information like what industry the person is in and like the approximate value of their house. It's really weird, and the only way to get off of it is you have to pay $15 to like get yourself removed from the database. It's
That's
really
a
creepy.
Brilliant idea.
That's actually
such a
Dude, somebody
brilliant
already
idea.
did it.
I wish I would have thought of
It's
that.
really creepy. It's like the insurance agent that comes up to your house is like a shame if this burned down, holds up a match or something, you know, like.
Where do you even get all that information though?
I
Like, you have to
honestly
like, get
don't
it
know.
from some federal service
But
or
it is
something,
legit.
Like, I don't like.
I
that's insane.
fact checked it for friends that are all over the country where I already know where they live, and
Yeah.
they're just right there.
Yeah.
I mean,
Wow.
sometimes they'll be a little out of date, but usually, like, you can put in, like, their parents or something like that and
That's
get to
interesting.
it.
That's
Yeah, it's
very-
weird.
I should search me and see which of my houses it actually pops
I think
up.
I searched you, actually, and it came up with your mom's house on Vashon. And I
Ah,
searched
that's
myself, and I
scary.
was there, too. And just, like, even my grandmother, who doesn't use the internet, is up in, like...
Well, I mean, this
wherever
is
she
nothing
is.
new. That information has been out there for everyone for a long time now. We
Yeah,
just like
no,
this is the
it's-
only place it's in like a very
It's a lot
concentrated
of-
area.
I mean, what a lot of people don't realize is addresses, phone numbers, those things
Phone
are
book, yeah.
totally public. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, that's public information. So, I mean, everyone, like, I understand if you have legitimate concerns about privacy being like, oh, I don't want that shit everywhere, but, like, in this day and age, it's kind of hard to take yourself that much off the grid. I mean, and I guess that's what this website Spokio is
It's
really
just compiling,
cashing
yeah.
in on is
Yeah.
just compiling all that
Yeah.
sort of creeperish stuff and
Yeah.
then sort of doing like a mob style shakedown.
It really is.
You know, hey,
But it's
if
not
you-
illegal,
if you
yeah.
don't want your information up there, you'll pay us $15. And
Yeah.
apparently it's like a 1940s Chicago mobster.
Yeah, no, that's what I thought of, too.
I feel like that's gonna be scary when people start like I don't know, like if you piss off like 4chan or something and they send like anthrax to your house, all that information is so easily
Well,
available
Yeah,
now that it's
well,
like
no, that has happened actually.
yeah, I know.
Anthrax
and it's really-
specifically?
well, not like just stuff. People can harass you very easily
Yeah,
in real
see,
life
the
based on
problem
what you
with-
do on the internet.
The problem with that, actually, I think, is that, like, phone books were local for the most part. Like, you didn't pass that shit all over the country or all
Yeah.
over the world, and it makes it really hard, like, on a more serious note for people who, like, have had stalkers or something like
Yeah.
that to escape them. And it probably, like, it understandably makes somebody uncomfortable that, like, you can just find some dude in Canada while you're in Florida or something like that, you know? Like, you can go anywhere with
Yeah.
it. It's weird.
Yeah. I mean, the other this is a little bit tangential, but I forget whether it was Norway or Sweden, but there's a group in Norway or Sweden that what they do is they track down internet trolls who say really like actually kind of criminally offensive things.
Like what? What qualifies?
Well,
Like,
let's not say it on
threats?
air.
Threats?
yeah, like rape threats.
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
Makes sense, yeah.
But they will track down if the internet troll is Swedish. Let's just say that they're a Swedish guy.
Okay.
Swedish organization. So yeah, if the internet troll is Swedish and they can track them down, because the way Swedish law works, they have enough sort of freedom of information that they are able to track these internet trolls down. And it's a TV show. They get a camera crew and they confront the internet troll in person and say, hey, you commented this thing on this post and this is exactly what you said, and they put a camera in their face.
It sounds like To Catch a Predator.
Yeah, it sort of is. It's like the Swedish internet troll version of To Catch a Predator.
Mm-hmm.
And, a lot of the times the internet troll go, oh, yeah, oh, that was
Sorry
shitty of
about
me,
that,
I'm
yeah.
sorry. But there's some, the curious thing also is that there are some internet trolls who go, yeah, of course I said that, fuck off.
feel like a lot of the people's houses they'd be breaking into, though, would be like 14-year-olds on the internet or something.
Well, I mean, that's the other thing is that there are a lot of minors they encounter where they can't obviously put a camera on them on the air.
Yeah.
So,
of course.
You know, and it's not like they break into their house. They sort of track them down somewhere public.
Yeah.
Like at the park.
Yeah, like at a coffee shop or a park or something.
You're walking through the park, and then like this, you just see this van pull up, and a camera crew starts running at you. Do you actually just like start running the other way?
I think
or,
I
like,
would. I don't
it's
want
like,
anybody
"Whoa,
getting in my face with the camera.
See, I don't think
rude.
I have enough self-esteem in any way, shape, or form to be like, oh, they're coming for me. I would be like,
That's true.
"Oh,
What if
I'm-
it's
I'm
like an
not.
empty
They
field
must be
though,
coming."
in a park, and they're just like gunning for you with like they're like leading, like some guy's holding a microphone and leading.
It still
with,
could
like,
be
a
the person behind you.
like it's like a sword. You look around, there's no one there. Do you just start running?
It
Do
could
you
still be the
scream?
person
There-
behind
Do you
you.
pretend to
There
have
was-
like a heart attack?
No, but like if you looked around and there wasn't someone behind you though,
I might
I
drop
would
to the
run.
ground. I don't
Play
know
dead.
why. I just like let
That's
them
how
run me
bears
over.
do it. Like if you play dead with a bear, they'll think you're so badass that they won't
No.
bother you.
No, that's only
No.
some bears, Colin. Don't apply that to all bears.
playing dead with a bear is a terrible idea.
It is.
Like that's a rumor that bears spread.
It's
No,
an unbearable
seriously.
thing.
Stop.
We could barely contain it.
God damn
Oh.
I hate you.
I know, but seriously though, I don't think I could bear witness to something like that.
Stop!
Stop scavenging for jokes.
No.
Puns are the purest form of humor, and I will never relent.
I have nothing to say.
Was it, I think it was Alfred Hitchcock that once said, "Yeah, puns are the highest form of literature."
No, he said it was
They
the lowest
are.
form of literature. Somebody said it was the lowest form of literature.
I think there have been people who've
They
said
were a
both.
trash can, whoever they were. Incorrect.
Yeah, it was probably. Oh, who was that one? Like Sesame Street character?
I was going to say Oscar Wilde. No.
Oscar Wilde.
Yeah, plot twist. Oscar the Grouch is actually just Oscar Wilde. 100 years later.
It's true. And he's got his little cravat on.
Maybe that's what happened to Dorian Gray.
Oh my God! He turned into Oscar the Grouch.
I need to go write that fanfic.
No, please
Do
don't.
it. Do
That-
it.
Oh God.
Do it.
Yeah.
Do it.
So, do you remember, like, speaking of Game of Thrones again?
Colin. He's just bringing it back to
What?
No, I'm using it as a massive, like, interconnected plot segue into
Is it
something
a
else.
segue?
Yes.
Are we talking about fight scenes?
Yeah, we are. Do you remember when Doran Martell has gout and can't
Dorian
move?
Martell.
When Oberyn Martell and the Mountain totally had the most epic fight ever.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
You know what? I've been trying for like weeks to find this one particular GIF of that fight, but
Yeah.
where because for the Super Bowl,
Yeah, I told you
the
about this. I remember.
Seahawks and the Patriots played,
Yeah.
and there's a GIF of that fight between the Viper and the Mountain,
Yeah.
where the Viper is like someone has photoshopped colored like them as Seattle,
Yeah.
and photoshopped colored the Mountain as like the Patriot colors.
Yeah.
And it so accurately describes that Super
Oh,
Bowl,
I've
and
seen
I
that.
so want to find it, but I haven't
But
had
It's
fight
any
just
scenes
luck.
sad.
are great. So
Fight scenes are great.
we
though.
were thinking the other day in the car after coming home from pho that we
This was
really
like 3 weeks
this
ago.
was
I
like
think.
2 weeks or something like that. We were thinking, hey, what are some of the best filmed fight scenes of all time? And I still haven't been able to think of anything beyond that and Luke versus Darth Vader in Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
And like all of the Bruce Lee movies. So,
That's true. I mean,
Bits of Pulp Fiction.
are there fight scenes in
Ah.
Pulp Fiction?
Yeah.
that's true.
The confrontation in the apartment, though. That
That's
counts.
not really a fight scene,
Yeah,
though.
but it is.
You mean with the katana and the
No,
gimp?
no, what?
That's what I was thinking. though.
Yeah.
That's what
But-
I was thinking.
well,
with
yeah,
Bruce
but-
Willis.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
Bruce Willis kills a guy with a katana.
Because
That was
Yeah.
awesome.
in the beginning, when it's Samuel L. Jackson and John
That's what I was
Travolta,
thinking, yeah.
That's not a fight scene. They're just massacring people.
Yeah,
that's
that was
fair
a very,
enough.
that was like a
There's no fight.
that was a mobster shakedown.
Right.
I just really like that
And they
scene and
killed
wanted
some
to
dudes.
wedge it in there.
No,
It's a wonderful
it's a great
scene, yeah.
I love that movie. I love that
Mhm.
scene, but I don't think it really qualifies as a fight scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I was thinking though, and I may have told you this, but if gun battles do qualify,
Yeah, gun battles totally qualify.
there's a fight scene at I mean there are quite a few really good fight scenes in Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid
Yeah.
with Robert Redford and Paul Newman. One of the things I really like about that is because in so many westerns they never show them reloading. It's always action, 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 tons of shooting.
Yeah.
In that movie they show them pausing and reloading and like repositioning and doing a bunch of like strategic-y stuff.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. But there are a lot of really good gun battles in that. I think my favorite though is at the very end of the movie when they're in South America. I think it's Bolivia, and the entire, well, not the entire, but like a huge amount of Bolivian army men are called in because they're really prominent bandits.
Yeah.
And they're having this shootout with just hundreds of army men.
Yeah.
And I mean, they die in the end.
Yeah.
But like
That's why
it's
it's called
really,
a Bolivian army ending.
yeah. It's
That's
a
a thing?
really good
Yeah, it's
fight
a thing.
scene.
Oh.
though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I remember there being some really fun swordplay choreography in
Wait.
Kenneth Branagh's version of Hamlet.
Yeah.
I don't remember how like super serious that was because remember
It
that
was
being
very
a very
serious.
dorky version of that play,
Oh.
and I loved it.
It was
but
a strange version, but yeah, no, because it was a fight scene between Hamlet and
that guy,
who's Ophelia's brother?
I forget his name.
I wanted to say Mercutio, but I know
Laertes?
that's totally wrong. Laertes, thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why I know that.
I should know
read it
that.
in high school.
I really should know
Yeah,
that.
but I'd never like I was
read
never
it in
into Hamlet.
college, and, like I wrote multiple papers on it. I studied it for months.
It's fine. Their names sound very interchangeable sometimes.
They don't.
They d- well, it's okay, fine, sorry.
Sorry.
Wait, so can I interject
Yeah.
potentially the what's his name? Inigo Montoya?
Yes.
What about
I was
that?
to
Yes.
say Princess Bride.
Very
Princess
important.
Bride is great.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but that one in particular.
Well,
Yeah.
wait, which Inigo Montoya one?
The last
Hello,
one when
You
he's
killed my father.
Yeah,
Prepare to die.
of course. It's iconic.
Yeah, that one, but also I think the first one where he fights Wesley.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's I think an equally iconic sword fight.
Just because of the meeting or what?
Well, I
Does
mean,
it just looks
Because
cool?
it's fun.
Just-
it's
it's
like
just
them.
such
They're
a
playing
fun-
with each other.
yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
it's
yeah,
true.
it's like sparring. It's not actually like trying to kill each other.
Yeah, because I think
Oh
there's
yeah,
one
you're
point,
right. Yeah, I
Yeah.
haven't seen it in a while.
I think
so.
there's one point where Wesley goes, oh, would you like to switch hands? And he goes, well, good, because I'm left-handed.
Yeah.
Which, yeah.
I would like to offer all of Pacific Rim
yes.
for hand-to-hand combat fight scenes.
Yes.
Like the like when Mako and Raleigh are fighting with the sticks, that's awesome. When Raleigh and Chuck Hansen are fighting,
Wait, who's Raleigh?
Raleigh is the main, is the
Raleigh
Australian
Beckett.
character.
He's the tall blonde dude who lost his brother and has
Yeah.
scars.
Oh, he's the nondescript American guy.
Yeah, the guy. He's Australian, but the
He's
guy
the
who
placeholder for
Wait,
literally
and
everyone.
who's Mako?
Little
my
Asian
God.
girl.
Mako is the little Asian girl who like.
Oh, the fragile Asian lady.
She's the protagonist of the movie.
She's
kills
not
things.
fragile though.
Yeah, she like has awesome stick fights with Raleigh and gets in her Jaeger and beats shit up. That was
Yeah.
awesome.
yeah.
And then there's Idris Elba.
Yeah, there's Idris Elba.
That's honestly all I remember about that movie. Like, oh, and Charlie Kelly was in that movie too, I
I
think.
thought it was Charlie Day.
Yeah, Charlie Day.
Well, I mean, that's his actual name, but Charlie Kelly
Oh.
is his character's name from It's Always
Oh,
Sunny
that's
in
right,
Philadelphia,
yeah.
Which
Yes.
is what I
I
know
need to
him
watch
from.
that.
It's a really good show. You should
Yeah,
watch
I've
that.
heard that from a lot of people.
Yeah.
I have a hard time offering things that aren't animated. Because like all of my really favorite fight scenes that I can think of are actually
Yeah.
from cartoons
Well,
and
that qual-
animated movies
No,
and
that doesn't
stuff.
quite qualify.
Like
actually.
everything in Avatar: The Last Airbender and Korra is great.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Are we considering battle scenes as fight scenes?
No, I mean no. That's a different category. Like one-on-one duels is Aragorn versus the Uruk-hai at the end of Fellowship of the Ring. That
Ooh, that's a
one-on-one
good
fight
point.
is really good.
Yeah. Well, see that I mean, because we were talking about this in the car that Lord of the Rings, for being such an epic movie, like Aragorn never quite meets his match.
Oh no, totally not.
You know, he's always just slaughtering hundreds of people at once. There's never any sort of duel in Lord of the Rings between Aragorn and anyone else. I think there are more duels like that in The Hobbit.
Yeah,
series.
but we don't.
Yeah,
talk
but The
about
Hobbit,
that.
yeah, was a little, padded out and stuff.
Yeah.
Just a
I
little.
liked The Hobbit. I honestly
No,
did
no, I
the
liked it
Hobbit
too.
Trilogy.
I don't. I like the first movie. I really don't like the second two.
That seems super backwards for you guys because when you're doing the what is the best fight scene, Colin goes for the contemporary cool ones, and then Kevin seems to go back towards the classic movies and that.
I
Sort
mean,
of
I
thing.
like kung fu movies from the 60s. Those have
That
great
too.
fight scenes.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the
There's,
70s and Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan and the stuff that inspired The Matrix. That's great too.
You know what? Basically, all of Kill Bill.
Yeah, I was gonna say that earlier.
Especially Volume 1.
Yeah.
Like when she's fighting the Japanese. I forget.
I don't
what
know her name
is.
either, but that's
when she whacks the very top of her skull off.
so cool.
That's a beautiful movie.
Such a stupid.
What about
moment though, when she's
I
bit
know.
the bit where they're walking down the hallway and they're playing the Back in Black. Is that what it's called? The song. Yeah.
AC/DC song?
That one.
Yeah.
It's probably AC/DC.
Yeah, I don't know what it's called.
Wait, so what about But that's so I was thinking of
That whole
this
movie's a
earlier when
fight
you
scene.
guys were discussing that it could just be a lot of Tarantino though.
Yeah.
You
There's
could
a lot
say
of Tarantino.
what,
The
what's
gunfight at the end of Django.
Yeah, I was
don't know
gonna
if
say
that
Django,
counts,
yeah.
but
That's a
that's
great
awesome.
one.
there isn't really that much hand to hand in Inglorious Bastards, but some of the face-offs are pretty intense.
I need to
Yeah, I
see a
think so,
movie
too.
called The Raid because apparently that has
Raid.
some really good
Fight scenes.
fight scenes. Also, a movie called it's a Korean film. What's it called? Stray Dog? No. Fuck. It's that movie with the Korean guy who fights his way through a tiny tunnel through hundreds of guys, and it's apparently awesome.
There's a French movie that I saw a few years ago, when I was in French Club. Usually the movies they show for French Club are kind of whatever. But there was one movie which was fucking fantastic. Still to this day, one of the best action movies I've seen. It's called Banlieue 13, which means District 13.
You told me about this. I still haven't seen it.
It's
District
a
9.
super cool. It has nothing to do with District 9. But it's all it's very sort of parkour-y, and there's a bunch of acrobatic type fighting, which I
Yes.
find super cool.
I love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, you should watch it. Also, it's actually late night time.
What?
I
Really?
know, time has gone so quickly. We'll have to do big words after late night.
This is
tonight.
why we need a 2-hour show.
I know. I think we should. Yeah. We'll-
Even if Lee has to go, we should go late.
maybe.
Maybe.
You can, you
I
guys
have
can
to
go
do
on
my
without me if you
taxes,
want.
But
Yeah, I did my taxes. Taxes.
anyway, late night. So I think what we can do actually is just keep that going on in the background as the song to do our
Good.
big word segment too.
Okay. Lee has to guess this time.
Well,
Okay.
you're
Wait,
both
I did it
going to
before,
guess.
yeah.
Ah,
You're
okay.
both going to guess them. So without further ado, that was kind of quiet. Sorry, but
Whatever, it doesn't matter.
Using big
Um,
words hurts you.
yeah.
Better.
It hurts me so much. It lacerates
so
my skin.
The first word is dactyliology.
Study of pterodactyl skin.
That's exactly my guess.
Yeah.
too. It's the study of pterodactyls.
Skin. Their skin.
Okay, specifically their skin?
Yes.
All right.
There's been a new development since you were last on in Big Words.
No making dumb ideas.
Where no,
Sorry.
No, that's the point.
Okay,
That's
good.
the entire point of the segment. In fact, we wouldn't be able to have a segment
Yeah.
like that unless that were the point. But no, where you can ask me to use a word in a sentence if you want.
Use it in a sentence. Yeah. I'm curious.
One of my friends who is very into jewelry is a dactyliologist.
Same answer.
I'm going to alter my answer to say someone who is really into crystalline pterodactyl skulls.
Okay. Made of meth.
You know, I told you about my D&D campaign where there was a plot item that was a fist carved out of pure cocaine.
Yes, I remember that.
We're gonna have
Think
to
it's
talk
good.
about D&D once Lee leaves.
Yeah, we will.
Don't want to go. But
Well,
there's pie.
don't.
There's pie in my future. So.
Okay.
Dactyliology, the study of rings.
That's cool. That's a good word for that.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like it at all, but I like it.
I hear it a
because
little.
dactyl is
Yes, yeah,
finger.
dactyls. But from what's the root word
I have
origin
no
thingy.
fucking idea. I never look up etymology for these things, so
Fair enough.
which I'm
Fair
sure
enough.
Lydia is just hating me for it.
Oh, as if she's listening to this.
Well, I
Maybe.
mean, I'm sure even if she isn't listening to this somewhere right now, she's just. I think I hate Kevin right now. I don't exactly know why. I'm sure that's what's
I have
going
those
on.
feelings sometimes.
Yeah, I was gonna say every day.
The second.
Sorry,
Oh my
Kevin.
God.
Sorry. Sorry.
The second word is retromancy.
Necromancy with retro items.
Something about bringing back what was old.
Bring back old cars from the dead.
Yeah, like bringing back 1950s cars.
Yeah, revamping like those Volkswagen Beetles when they're all crunched.
Yeah.
Nope. It is divination by looking over one's shoulder.
That's just looking. That's not divination. That's like, there's a mountain thingy behind me.
So wait, how accurate is this divination?
Well, it's as accurate as divination by like stick.
Okay, so
It's divination. It doesn't mean that it's true or anything. It's just like a mystical way that someone can sort of.
so what you're telling me is this word means that you are predicting the future in some way by looking over your shoulder.
No.
Yeah.
Well, really? Because I just
But you
want to
do-
use
that's,
it.
That's already what you do. Like you look like,
Well,
oh, there's someone behind me.
I
They'll
mean,
probably walk past
divining,
me.
Divining isn't always. Divination isn't always predicting the future. It's just sort of figuring something out. It's learning something.
Oh,
so-
divine. Yeah, how did you divine that?
Right. So divination by looking over one's shoulder. Retromancy. Yeah. Interesting.
Pleasing.
The next word is jussive or jussive. Jussive.
Colin, you first. This
Smegma
time.
brush.
Ew! I do not guess that.
Oh, God damn it.
Can you use it in a sentence, please?
Come
on, you got this.
It's a hard one to use in a sentence, actually.
Maybe it's not real.
No, it is real. When President Obama ordered more troops into the Middle East, and then talked about it to the American people, he was doing doing a jussive.
A jussive? Is
Jussive,
it a noun?
It's a verb. He was jussiving. He was.
It was jussifying.
It's a
Talk
verb.
about juice in a military sense.
No,
Oh,
Colin.
I stand by my previous definition.
disgusting.
Expressing a command.
It really doesn't sound like what it
A
is.
jussive is expressing a command. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't.
It's
Maybe
weird.
judicial. No.
Hamular is the next word.
Of or
Hamular.
pertaining to the shape of ham.
Ham with legs that goes, like ambular.
Hambular.
That pig is still ambular.
A hambulance, an ambulance for pigs, or
Yes.
smoked meat products.
Very specific industry.
Yes.
Sounds good.
No, hamular is like a small hook.
Huh.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say like a small pig.
We
or
should start like a
sausage.
pig industry where the leader is Waddles from Gravity Falls, and he just
Whoa.
runs a corporate empire, being
Too
like,
much cute.
That'd
But
be
in
great.
his little device. So that
yes,
he can talk.
with the Stephen Hawking thing. That was great.
The final word is skyophobia. SCIAPHOBIA.
Fear of scissors.
I'm really close to getting it for real, actually, I think, but I can't remember what the root sky means.
Fear of looking into
It might be
pensives.
skiophobia.
Can you use it in a sentence? I feel like that'll just give it away, but
Oh, it'll definitely give it
okay,
away.
then don't do that.
But I can try. Give me a second to
Yeah,
think
yeah. Go
about
ahead and be ambiguous as you can about it.
In the twilight hours of summer, when the sun is setting, it is common for skyophobics to not want to go out at night.
Just like
Fear of the color orange.
fear of the setting sun.
It doesn't really have anything to do with the sun itself, but things that happens to the light when it's clear out and the sun is shining, and sun casts light on a thing, and there's an absence of light because there's a thing in the way.
So it's fear of like things obscuring
It's like
light.
fear of shadows.
Fear of shadows.
Oh, of course. Jeez.
Yes,
That's interesting.
Skyophobia is a fear of shadows.
I wouldn't have guessed that, actually.
I think I actually had that when I was 5.
Really?
Fear of shadows?
I
They're
couldn't
a
go to
bit
sleep at
creepy.
night because I'd be scared of the shadows on my walls coming in from the light from the window outside.
Huh.
I feel
so
that.
it wasn't a fear of the dark, but it was just a fear of shadows?
Yep.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I had a fear of like the light bulbs in my room because of how their position looked like angry eyes looking at me. It was very scary. Now I have to have it completely dark at night.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that was big words for this week. Colin, you got 1 out of 5.
Yay.
And me, you got 0.
I'm not surprised.
No, that's fine. The big words is usually a very low scoring segment anyway. Honestly, if big words were being done to me, I probably wouldn't get them very
Big
often
words
anyway.
being done to you. Like inflicted upon you.
Give me some big words.
Kevin, when it's your turn, I'm going to pick like words that are all from like fantasy novels from like the 60s.
Oh dear God.
And like see if you can get that
No,
shit.
Do you think you would get them?
Maybe.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't. I'll give you a website, the website that I always use to pick big words.
Yeah.
And you can just pick 5 big words from that.
Is it just bigwords.com?
No, it's I forget what site I use for it. It has a weird name.
We could pick out the words from Ulysses that were made up.
Oh dear God. Nothing James Joyce related, please. I love that man. I love his writing, but dear God, Ulysses is such a fucking mind fuck.
Yep.
Like
Well, why do you like him then?
he's a brilliant writer and a brilliant poet. But it takes... There are people, like, there are scholars who devote their entire lives to Ulysses. Who
Sounds horrible.
Who
Yeah, it does.
still have no idea what half of it means and are, it's a huge area of study. It's a very niche thing, but it's very expansive because James Joyce pretty much intentionally wanted to make Ulysses about the most difficult thing ever.
That's super obnoxious. I don't like the guy now.
So when does art like that pass from like... How does it transition from like bullshit I wrote when I was high to high art?
High
Is it just
art.
Is it just like circumstance that people like this so much? Like what
Well,
differentiates
no,
this from like something
because-
else that's the similar but also just as crazy and impossible to understand?
Well, I think it's not entirely impossible to understand. I mean, I've read Ulysses. I certainly wasn't able to get everything out of it that I possibly could have, but it was still sort of interesting and meaningful, and I liked it.
Yeah. You
so-
read the whole thing?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
But if it's so like what's the word? Like difficult to read and like impenetrable, how much can you really get out of it though?
Well, that's a really interesting argument that brings up a lot of literary theory and
Yeah,
criticism.
because purposefully difficult writing really bothers me. Like it's dumb. Like I'm not saying metaphors and that kind of stuff can't be amazing. But when you're reading it, you're like, what the hell is going on? This must be so brilliant. I feel like the author is bullshitting me. And I don't like it when people do that in real life. And I sure as hell don't like it in literature.
There's a way that you can write. I mean, T.S. Eliot does this brilliantly.
Yeah, but this is nice.
Wasteland isn't as long as Ulysses.
That has a lot to do with it.
But I mean, and Wasteland is still pretty long though. But T.S. Eliot does a similar thing where, he writes using a lot of sort of weird references from all over the place that enrich the text if you know what they are and understand them. But it doesn't really take too much away if you don't know what it is. You can still read the text and find it meaningful and everything if you don't know what the references are.
That's a really good point, actually. Yeah. But is it, I guess I'm kind of spitballing considering I haven't actually read it, but like, is it a whole bunch of references to stuff or is it like
no, there's a
concepts
story
that are really complicated?
Well, I mean, it's mostly just a bunch of really opaque references.
That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah, it's a bunch of references to strange things that, sometimes people still, there's still a fair amount of references from Ulysses that people haven't figured out what they mean. But yeah, it's just a really strange piece of literature that isn't really studied by a ton of people, but the people who do study it get so into it, like extremely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it.
No, it makes sense.
It's sort of the way in which J.R.R. Tolkien isn't studied widely, but the people who do study Tolkien
Get really into it, yeah.
are Tolkien scholars, basically.
Hi.
These are a bunch of nerds.
Hey, Lydia. How are things?
Yeah.
So
Oh,
there
Tolkien,
are
my
Tolkien nerds and there are Ulysses nerds, basically.
By the way,
That's
it's
what we're getting.
9:00, so
I
I
should
think
bounce,
right now
yeah.
we should say goodbye to Lee. Thank you for coming on the show this week. We had a lot of fun with you.
You're welcome. I had fun too.
You always
Yeah.
make it go too fast. You should come back again.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I have to go get pie. It's going to be good.
Terrible lot in life.
I don't know if Allie is listening, but I'll be out soon.
Well, have fun getting your pie. We really enjoyed having you on the show. But now I think since it's just Colin and I.
Yeah.
time
We're
to-
still functioning on the assumption that no one's going to barge in and attempt to take their spot, but
yeah,
this
that's
hasn't
true.
happened.
Time to turn things a bit more towards the Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, yes. So many tales of woe and hardship and love.
So
Not actually.
I think you went first last time.
Did
so
I think did you? I don't remember.
well, I'll go first.
Yeah. Okay.
Not a lot happened because last week, even though we didn't have a show last week, we didn't have D&D last week either.
Yeah.
Because people were super busy, so I just leveled people up. But
As you
also, Adassa's character did a short side campaign where she went back into the prison to rescue one of her rat friends from prison. And they got him out, and Adassa's character also has a date with this elf druid guy.
So she went into a dungeon, to rescue a rat, like the animal.
No, she didn't go into a dungeon. She went into a prison.
Okay.
Like a still functioning prison.
To
she
rescue
didn't have
a
to fight
rat.
anything. Yeah.
That's very sentimental of her.
Rescue a rat that she became attached to while she was in prison.
Yeah.
But this week, what happened? Well, where we left off, the gang had tailed some suspicious people that Benoit wanted them to tail, pickpocketed an envelope out of one of their pockets containing some weird documents and a huge IOU for like 50,000 gold.
Wow.
So this week they tried to figure out a way to get the 50,000 gold. So Eric's character forged some identification documents, and Natalie's character went to the central bank in Aubernay-Seine
Yeah.
and used an alias, Monica Lewinsky, to create a fake bank account that they could route all of the money into. So they did that, and then learned that they didn't have enough money to open a bank account. So they went to the magic market and tried to pickpocket some money. And Natalie's character was very successful at pickpocketing the money, but as soon as she pickpocketed the money, she was instantly paralyzed because there are a ton of undercover guards in the magic market because, the normal guards in the city don't really pay much attention to the magic market.
Yeah.
That instantly paralyzed her, took her to the security tent, and just tied her up and started beating the shit out of her.
So how many times has Natalie's characters been kidnapped and tied up and?
I think 3 times.
This is why playing with rogues is shitty.
Yeah, but so then the rest of the gang tried to get her out. Adassa's character tried to cast fire, rolled a natural 1, so she just flailed and said weird words. And then tried it again and rolled a 2, so basically the same thing happened. And then she cast lightning on the security tent, which set it on fire. But by this point, everyone was looking at her like she was really weird, and the guards had figured out what she was doing.
Yeah.
So they half paralyzed her and started coming to her. So her wolf tried to save her.
Yeah.
By putting her on his back and running off. But the wolf rolled a natural 1. So it sort of catapulted her out through the canopy in the magic market, through the air a lot.
Yeah.
And she escaped that way. Meanwhile, Anna and Eric's characters went around to the back of the security tent, cut a hole in the security tent, cut Natalie free, and escaped. So then they met with Benoit, and we're like, we're not going to tell him about the IOU for all the money because we want to keep it. And Benoit wasn't falling for any of that shit because he's kind of high level and can detect intention really well.
Yeah.
So he made them tell him about the IOU and highly suggested that they didn't do anything with it because it could trace back to him. But he sort of said, as long as you do it discreetly, go ahead and do it. I just don't want to hear anything about it. So
does your party now have tons and tons of money?
No, because they haven't figured out how to do the IOU yet.
Okay.
They haven't figured out the rest of the plan.
So interesting when your motivation is gold. At this point, my party is entirely motivated by not death. Because this campaign that I've built for them is like this X-Files secret village hidden in the wood run by mysterious Ogliarchs kind of thing. It's exciting. Like I've played 2 sessions since our last episode, and in that time, they have been unraveling the secrets of what's going on. They, what happened one time? Well, they definitely beat up the innkeep for information, because Urag, being the orc diplomat cleric that he is, was having none of that shit, and just straight up went over to like the guy at the innkeep, who turned out to be this guy who had part of this like conspiracy, and they created this town artificially as a testing ground. They managed to get enough information out of the wizards too, who are twins named Left and Right, who are doing chemical experiments through intense plumbing of the city on people who they've kidnapped, like adventurers in the area, and brought to this town and indoctrinated through mind control drugs into this cult thing, and like basically using it as this test tube for like experiments for some nefarious greater purpose. And it's just like, it's been exciting seeing them kind of flounder, but then also kind of get their legs up and really figure it out. Like they managed to find all this secret information like in the bottom of the inn, and they discovered that Melchior, my character who I've played before, was actually he was captured on the outskirts of the town, and they went over and rescued him because he was like in a cage in a house underground, like a couple streets over. And he had been tasked by the Empire of the Elves because he got conscripted because he wanted funding for some of his architectural research, to go sneak in, because he's kind of a sneaky mage thing, and like find information and get out and report back to like the higher ups. And he got captured, of course, by the wizards. So he teamed up with the protagonists, and they all went to this cultist meeting, and it was really exciting because like the cult, like the way that works is that the poisons are filtered through this fountain, and the cult is like the cult of the drowned goddess, and you have to drink from the fountain in order to get like the stuff in your system and like become susceptible. So they're like, we're gonna fake join this cult. So it was this really great moment where like the cult leader Fema was like, come up here and drink deep of the water of the goddess, and they're all like finding like these ways to get around it. Like Urag cast purify food and water on the thing sneakily before like drinking. Raffi's character did an illusion spell so it looked like she was drinking it, but actually just like threw it over her shoulder. Jake Bartman did this fun thing where he rolled the sneakily, like toss it over his shoulder, but then totally fucked up, and they had to like convince him not to take it. And then Matt just was like, no, I'm just gonna chug it. So he just drank the entire thing and had these incredible like hallucinogenic going-ons in his head, and he almost passed out. And then the cult was like, you are not good enough to receive the goddess's mark, so they tried to drown him. And in a stroke of genius, Raffi and Lydia did this thing where they cast illusion on like some tremors on the big statue of the goddess that they had in the cultist room, which was filled with like 200 cultists all praying while they're at the front of the thing, to make it look like the god statue was speaking to them, as if the goddess was talking to the cult.
Such a good idea.
and basically they convinced the cult leader or Raffi convinced the cult leader that Urag was actually the reincarnation and avatar of the drowned goddess. So Urag is now a stand-in prophet of the drowned goddess, and Urag is like, well, as it turns out, the wizards left and right who were standing in as your priests are actually like leading you astray, and they're not doing well by you, and you should not put your trust in them. And then Fima's all like, oh, great prophet, I must believe you. And then she's like, people of the drowned goddess, we must rise up and give these evildoers back to their watery like birth. So basically all the cultists like stand up, throw away their robes, and they're all wearing plate mail and have swords. And basically Urag and the rest become like, they start ordering around this army of 200 cultists, like heavily armed to the teeth.
Shit.
Because these guys, like basically the town, the wizards and the innkeeper, whose name is Felix, Left, Right, and Felix, have been pulling in all of these all these adventurers from around, kidnapping them. And the ones who survived all the drug tests are the people in the cult, because everyone else died. So they're strong and hardy, and like they've been raising them up and trying to raise up this personal army, as well as do all these experiments for what is referred to in some notes mysteriously as the party. And we're not given any other context for that. The innkeep actually, when they were interrogating him, doing some good cop, bad cop kind of things, it's really fun because Urag is really good at persuasion, but Jake, whose character's name is Friedrich is really good at persuading. So you have this like kind persuasion mixed with this like rah, shake you down kind of thing. So they managed to they got the innkeep to the point where he would start talking, but as soon as he started talking about, like, he mentioned the party and that the town was fake, his head exploded into a geyser of blood. So backing up to the future a bit, back to the future. You have Urag, or you have all the party leading these cultists out into the town, and their cultists are they have to bring these people who've betrayed them back into the goddess's good graces, which means killing them. But then the wizards are in the town watching everything from afar, and you have this huge battle erupting between this army of cultists and these two like level 20 sorcerers. And it's like bodies and blood everywhere, and the party like snuck around. They are currently in the sorcerer's tower right now, gathering information and figuring things out. And so next round, probably hella boss fight. And they managed to using a super techie, magitechie, like one-way spell casting communication device, they opened a portal into a meeting that Melchior's army superiors happened to be on, and contacted them and asked, like, basically relay for help. So now in 3 days, the Elven army is going to come down upon them. And during this meeting, the Queen of the Empire was actually there, and she was like, no, we're burning them to the ground. So, Blitzkrieg. The Elven army is coming in. We have a cultist army. We have these wizards who are trying to get out because the people know that their bosses know that they failed the experiment now, and they're like, it's clusterfuck. It's wonderful. I'm really excited.
Damn, that sounds so cool.
It does. I'm so happy.
Yeah, that's great.
By the end of next meeting, we're gonna have all these political things going on, and I want to like get them like going up and doing cool things, and I'm so excited for all the things that are happening.
Cool.
Yeah.
Isn't DMing fun?
DMing is so fun.
You get to help tell a story.
It's great because I'm really getting decent at improv, because all the stuff I write, the last meeting, actually this past session, I was like, all right, they're gonna like storm the sorcerer's house and go kill them. Instead, they went to the cultist place, and I had to make up all the cultist stuff like from scratch, just on a whim.
Yep.
And I was like, that I totally did not expect. Like, I didn't expect there to be an army. I didn't expect there to be a battle. It just sort of happened that way.
Yep.
And that's really fun. And I'm just like, Dungeons and Dragons is great.
Yeah, it's great.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, do you want to talk about Korra quickly?
Yeah, let's finish on Korra, because I have a Korra image for this show, and we really need, now that Lee's not here for spoilers, we can really sort of get into that and actually have that conversation.
I mean, okay,
Korra's over, and
here's my thing quickly.
Yeah.
Just, I'm usually not a huge fan of watching like kids cartoons as an adult.
Yeah.
I'll do it like in terms of SpongeBob, like I'll watch an episode or two with my brother. I watched Avatar: The Last Airbender, and while it was very apparent that it was designed for kids,
yeah,
it definitely had its good moments. and I ended up really liking it.
Yeah.
And I watched Korra, and it was even more apparent in the first season that it was being made for kids. But I also ended up liking it sort of towards the end of the first season. Season 2, Season 3, meh and meh. But, well, actually, Season 3 was pretty damn good. But holy shit, Season 4.
Season 4 is great.
I
so
know I
good.
told you this last week.
Yeah.
I think Avatar Korra Season 4 is the best season of the show, either Korra or original Avatar.
I disagree with you, but that's a valid opinion. It's really good.
Yeah, it's so excellent. Like I mean, at least for me personally, it hits on so many like personal and even sort of religious things for me that I feel so strongly about it. I just God
Go into that. What do you mean?
Well,
I mean, I know why I like it. It's because all my favorite characters do badass things. Kuvira is in it. You have these amazing.
Kuvira is a really interesting character. I like her.
All of this like conflict and like political like fallout from Zahir killing the Earth Queen and like, oh, by the way, spoilers. But like just it's so good. Like just all of that and like Korra's like
it's
arc
nice
and
complex. That's what I think that's one of the things I enjoyed most about it is how beautifully complex all of it was allowed to be.
Yeah.
And how much of it they weren't doing just for a cheap laugh.
Yeah.
As they were with a lot of things in previous seasons. The characters got some really good development. But no, I mean like if you want me to talk about like sort of why I really liked it, especially in sort of like my religious aspect.
Yeah, go into that a bit. That'd be really interesting.
I think Korra really blossomed as a Buddhist in this season. I mean, she confronted a lot of the weird, interesting intricacies of Buddhism that I've, been questioning and sort of confronting lately, such as, everything is always in flux. How can you possibly make any sort of difference? What is your duty? Is your duty to remain completely neutral and withdraw entirely? Is your duty to enforce some sort of Gestapo-esque balance? Is there some sort of balance between enforcing balance and pulling out entirely? That sort of stuff is all really, I mean, it's very sort of Buddhist to be asking those questions and to be struggling with those questions, and especially to come to the conclusions that Korra did.
Yeah.
I think, in a way, honestly, and it's kind of weird for me to say this.
Yeah.
But I think that show helped me, like, sort of think through and work through some of my own, like, religious thoughts and issues and beliefs.
That's awesome. That's magic right there.
It really is. I really liked how complex and human all of the characters were too. Even if Korra still had all those questions and moral dilemmas, I don't think it would have worked as well unless the characters were as dynamic and complex as they were.
Yeah.
So I appreciated the hell out of that for so many reasons. And I really liked especially that the villain was coming from a totally understandable place, that we could totally empathize with the villain, and that we could certainly see a lot of the faults of our hero, not only faults but weaknesses. There was a lot of sort of PTSD stuff in this season that we got a pretty good look at, and I think the creators of the show handled that very well, at least from what I know about PTSD.
Yeah, I feel that.
So I think that just I don't know. I could go on about it forever because I really do think that in all aspects it was such a good season, and just brought up so many really important and interesting questions, at least to me.
Yeah.
And, not necessarily that it answered them all, but it dealt with them all in a very sort of Buddhist way, which I thought was beautifully done.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I dug the shit out of it. I mean, yeah, like I mean, on one hand, I'm like, yeah, I get that entirely, but I'm also like, they ended the show by fighting a giant robot. Like, that was that was a little much.
That definitely was a little much, especially since that fight lasted for what I feel like was a bit too long.
Yeah, it was like 2 episodes. I should have, but then again, that last episode was great. Like, to me, this season felt like Return of the Jedi, but without the fucking Ewoks.
Right.
Like, you have like your characters coming through these struggles, and they're in new places, and some time has passed, but it's still like building up to this climax that's gonna set things right for a while at the very least.
Yeah.
And like, there's new horizons, new ideas. There's like a lot of characters. Like, everything is just, I don't know. It's like it's got that climactic feel. Like, it's not.
Definitely.
I don't think it's as climactic as season 3 of Avatar: The Last Airbender feel, because that was like, whoa. But this is good. This is really this. It was. There's some parts like, I'm still not entirely a fan of like Janora, Iki, and Milo having their little episode. But
I know that felt kind of.
That was egregious. But like, all of like Bolin was a good character this season. Pairing him with Varric was a genius idea. Like, Varric is great. I love
making the 2 comic relief characters develop together. I mean, that's also a very risky and a very difficult thing to pull off, and I think they did it really well.
Yeah. I just like, I love it. I love putting Bolin in situations where he's actually the serious one, because Varric's just even crazier. It's like, it's a bomb, aha, we're gonna blow up the train. I love shit like that. And it's like, where Bolin has more responsibility and has like this serious. Like, what did he do in the first season? He was like he was an athlete. In the second season, he was a pro bender. In the third season, I guess he's the second season, he's an actor. In the third season, they're like adventurers. But now, like, everyone is involved. It's not like everyone's sort of all over the map. Korra is the Avatar. Mako is bodyguard to an emperor.
Right.
Bolin is in the army. Kuvira is really important. Sue is related. Lin is related. Toph is in it. Everyone is interconnected within the political struggle on a personal level.
There's no character that is unimportant. Except
for the kids and Boomy and Kaya and like so many of the other characters they pushed to the side in earlier seasons.
But I mean, so many of the main characters are all very integral, which didn't happen in earlier seasons. Like, Bolin, I feel like never was very integral to.
Yeah, Bolin and Mako were totally unnecessary to the plot after the pro-bending stuff ended in season 1.
Yeah.
But now they're important again, and I love that. I love that they're actually. I love it when characters are used like well.
Especially Asami. I think Asami got so much good
she's
character
so awesome.
development.
Having her dad come back was great.
Yeah, especially with her dad. I also wish, speaking about characters from the past, Zahir.
Oh yes, that was so good.
I wish that was
so
longer.
Good. Oh, me too.
I wish that took an entire episode.
Yeah.
And I wish that she was able to speak with Zahir more than she did, because I mean, and that's the other difficult thing for me in terms of the Buddhism thing.
Yeah.
Because Zahir is very much a enlightened Buddhist figure in this series, not only in season 4 but even in season 3 a little bit.
Yeah.
So to have him as the villain and then the mentor, I think is so cool. And
I love that. I love it when it's a very I picked that up from I think anime, but I love it when villains reform and then use their wisdom to help the protagonists. I love that trope so dearly, because it's actually kind of how things go sometimes in life when you're lucky.
How things go, and I love that. I mean, that's a completely novel thing for me. I don't think I've ever seen that happen before.
Yeah.
So that was a really cool thing to be able to, see that. I really didn't expect to like this show as much as I did. I think I honestly think part of the reason, like, it helped that it got taken off the air.
Yeah.
So that meant they could do more stuff with it.
Yeah,
that they wanted to. But
seasons 3 and 4 are just solid. Like, if you just that's like I'm like seasons 1.
You could almost skip 1 and 2.
That's the problem. You can, because if you just treat season 3, like the first episode of season 3, as the start of the show, it actually kind of holds together decently enough. There's some stuff that isn't explained, but it's like there's like season 1, the end of season 1, there is no consequences at the end of start of season 2. There's no continuity. It's the end of season 2, harmonic
There's
convergence.
some continuity, yeah.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
It is a big deal.
Harmonic convergence happens at the end of season 2, so
And
that's
all
a
the spirits.
start. And then but even then, the spirits don't actually do anything.
Not really.
And but the spirit vines thing pays off in season 4, which is awesome. But then season 3, it's like total like Earth Queen dies, political strife, like authority figure rises to quell and balance the world. She does it wrong. Korra has like that's so. The way that's integrated is just amazing.
Yeah.
It was really, really good. That's what I expected from the show from the start, and we had to wait so long to get it.
Yeah, when I have more time, I think I'm going to try and go back and rewatch the original series.
Yeah, I'm doing that right now.
Yeah,
I'm on like
it's
episode
the 10-year
10.
anniversary
Yeah.
right now.
Happy
So,
birthday.
Yeah, I think that might be a thing I start doing soon, but I don't know. I'm working my way through other stuff right now.
Yeah.
but-
I am watching like the original show like now, and it's like I don't know. I'm in season 1, and I'm like some of this is still better than all of Korra, and some of it isn't. And I don't know how to describe it. And
Yeah.
like I'm still not all like when I get all the way through all of it, because I'm gonna watch all of it. I will
Right.
get through all 110 episodes of Avatar,
Right.
Korra and Avatar, and after that, I'll probably be able to write you papers about why I have preferences one way or another.
No, I kind of want to watch through Avatar with you so like we can continue to talk about this.
Yeah.
Maybe not on air because I don't know how. Actually, fuck the listeners. There are probably 2 listeners anyway, so I
Yeah.
don't really particularly care. But I also wouldn't want to make an entire show about this.
I could
But-
make an entire show about the intricacies
No, I
of
could
Avatar.
too. I definitely could too. But
Yeah.
I guguess this is just another reason why we need to go out for dinner more.
Yeah, exactly. We should do
go
pho
get
this week.
Yeah, we should do pho this week.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
But I just want to like I thought about this like earlier. Something about like this is a minor point, but even like the backgrounds and the art direction are different enough. And I
Yeah.
don't know entirely like it's like Korra
Definitely.
is way more detailed, I guess.
I mean, I think part of it is also because they're set in different times with different styles to begin
Yeah.
with anyway. But yeah, it is, it is at least a 5-year gap between Avatar and Korra, isn't it? Something
I think it's like Avatar ended in 2008 and Korra started in 2011
yeah.
or
so-
2012. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2012.
So it's like a 5-year gap, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not even the quality. Some like Avatar is painted to like the backgrounds and shit are painted to look like the art of the period that it's based on, like this
Right.
sort of like atmospheric, like high mountains and mists kind of Japanese painting. Whereas Korra looks more like 1920s Batman.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
mixed with those paintings, and I'd be lying if I say I really prefer the Avatar style. Like, it's more cartoony, and I think I'm the kind of person who prefers that. Like, I am watching chunks of animation between Avatar and Korra, and there's such a huge difference.
Yeah.
Like, if you like look at the way characters are animated and faces are animated, it's like it's not even like superficial. It's really deep.
Yeah.
The way that they animate the kineticism of the characters moving is totally different.
I think that's why I prefer Korra,
Yeah.
honestly, is because of those subtle artistic choices that speak to me much more as a non-anime watcher. You
Yeah.
know, I think
It has
it's more
nothing to do with
accessible.
anime. Like
Well,
even in Japan, it's the way they decided. Like Avatar has stronger stretch and squash physics in it,
Right.
and that means it allows your character models to bounce a bit when you draw them. They can go off model for brief periods in order to emphasize the movement of the characters. Korra doesn't do that as much. Korra
Right.
is animated much more like live action than Avatar is. Avatar
Right.
embraces its cartoon roots, where Korra is far more focused on having naturalistic action. And because of that, I can't help but love Avatar way the hell more, because they're embracing the medium more than Korra is. That said, Korra still has way higher budget, and it looks generally of a higher quality,
Yeah.
but Avatar has artistic decisions in it that I just like more.
Yeah.
Also, it just has better characters, just straight up. It took 2 season 4 for me to like all the characters in like the Mako, Korra, Bolin, Asami
Definitely.
gang.
Oh,
Whereas from
definitely.
the start of Avatar, I already love Katara, Sokka, Zuko, Aang, Iroh, Toph, Suki.
Yeah,
it's
I
like
mean,
yeah.
I wasn't so much of a fan actually of who's the Sokka.
Sokka. You don't like Sokka?
I
He's
didn't
sarcastic
like him in the
boomerang
beginning.
guy.
I didn't like him in the beginning because
Yeah.
he was just so obviously there for comic relief and not much else.
Yeah.
And I hate characters like that. But
he gets
anyway.
such a great arc with like the
He
war
does.
and
No,
like
he really does get a good arc. But anyway, I think we should wrap it up because we've definitely gone over enough at this point.
yeah. This is a 1.5 length show and a good show. I like this show.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. I
Yeah.
think this was one of the better shows we've had in recent memory.
Yep. What's our title?
Fucking I don't know.
Okay. Yip yip. Or is that too silly?
I think that might be too silly.
Okay.
Thank you, Clifford Peterson.
How about just Clifford Peterson?
Yeah, Clifford.
No, can we not like include actual people names in the titles? I actually do feel a little uncomfortable with that.
No, I guess we can just say, fuck it, let's figure it out off air.
Yeah,
anyway.
sorry for wasting your time.
Not that there's much to waste. You're choosing to listen to this shit.
And you like it.
Anyway, thank you for listening to What the Hell Did You Expect? We'll be back next week, same time, same place.
8 p.m. KLC. Have a lovely evening.
I'll take your girlfriend and put that pussy on the pedestal.